Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Critical Blast Caverns for another edition of the Critical Blast Pod Blast. I am your host, RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com. And if the image looks a little different to you than what you're normally seeing, it's because we are working with a new computer today. This is our first time trying it. So we're going to work out all the glitches and glitches and whatever else pops up. Just learn it as we go along. Tonight, keeping in the grand tradition we've established of me interviewing people who are doing things I know nothing at all about and acting like an expert, we're going to talk with Rosetta Allen about her photography book, An Adventure in Eagles. Mm-hmm. Is that I got the title correct? I should have just scrolled down to figure that out. How you doing tonight, Rosetta?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm a nature photographer before I even knew these communities. So trying to put some function and use to the photos I've spent a fortune doing for the last almost 3 years now.
So you've been taking them for 3 years. How many photos do you think you've got?
Oh, Lord. I've got basically about a terabyte hard drive full. So
of just eagles?
Of all kinds of things, nature photography in general. Eagles themselves, I have just shy of 20,000.
That's a lot of eagles. That's a whole flock of eagles. So you were doing photography before you became a comic book colorist, which is, of course, how we got introduced, is through the comic book communities on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Why? That'd be the first question out.
So there's a little backstory to this. I grew up in the mountains. I'm very much a nature girl. I grew up in my dad's tribal culture, so interacting with animals in the woods a lot. So I've always wanted to work in nature. My dream as a child was I actually wanted to work as a forest ranger with the bison and the boiling mud in Yellowstone. I know, I'm so girly.
Okay. So,
but because of medical conditions that are genetic from having all kinds of things, because my dad has muscular dystrophy and wasn't supposed to have kids, that was out the window. Then I worked in carpentry, and that went out as my health failed the ability to keep doing it. And I was taking architectural classes, but I kept missing so much of school to medical issues that kind of went by the wayside. When I got married, I was about 23 when they completely banned me from working day-to-day jobs because it was too high risk for anybody to hire me with my medical for insurance. Sure. So I started doing different types of art and stuff by hire online and stuff as a way to work from home and still at least contribute and not just make my husband pay for everything.
Now, that's admirable, because a lot of people who are in your boat would say, you know what, I can sit here and coast on disability and not have to do a thing.
I have never taken disability. I've always continued us taking care of ourselves.
That's a work ethic that you don't. It's rare in America to find that work ethic anymore. To find a work ethic anymore. I guess if you're going the other direction, it's no work at all. So, but some people absolutely can't, and I get that. But
no, my parents
can't.
My parents can't. They're both extremely disabled. They can't live in the city with their medical, and so they're out in the middle, and no, we're surviving as a disabled elderly couple. I get it. They need some help, and that's also why me and my husband help them when we can too. So I understand not everyone can, but as long as I can, or I'm not so broke I need the help, then I don't want to take up resources other people need more.
So how did you get from doing all the working with nature and nature photography to suddenly finding yourself coloring comic books?
Okay, so I got into the photography end in the very beginning of 18 when my mom fell and dislocated both shoulders and broke the ball joint in one, because I came and stayed with them for 2 months and took care of both her and dad while she was recovering, because they couldn't lift, they couldn't do anything, because him on his walker with muscular dystrophy, her with both shoulders completely effed and in a brace. And as part of a thank you for doing this for her, she gave me a nice fancy camera. And that started everything.
Yeah.
Because I was so into art anyways, it just clicked naturally with me very quickly because I'm always out in nature anyways. That's how I function. And I was searching in painting techniques. I was actually studying some of the artwork I was making with my photography and other stuff while I was doing this, while I was going through medical. And I stumbled upon a video while I was looking up techniques for different painting of somebody painting a picture of Yoda, Star Wars girl.
Okay. Her name is familiar.
Mm-hmm.
She does not have a website, by the way, so do not try to go to it.
And I watched that, and then I clicked over on a related link, which was Mecca.
Mecca Random?
I hopped over to her channel to see what she was, and she was live streaming. From that stream, it snowballed to getting to know everyone in Phantom Menace and start to learn CG, because she very quickly started introducing me to everybody in the community when I talked to her. Just absolutely friendly, absolutely nice. And a few months down the road, because this happened at the end of spring last year, beginning of October, after I dealt with losing my grandfather, I was still dealing with a lot of the depression from that. And I'd just gotten home from burying him, and middle of the night stream off on by myself, and it got raided by a karaoke crew. Mary raided it with her entire crew.
Okay. I don't know that group.
One of the people that sings and performs with her every week on karaoke is Anthony of Dark Gift Comics.
Okay. Him I know.
That was how I met him. Was he literally hopped into my stream in the actual stream when I'd never met him before, because she said, "Come follow, let's cheer this girl up."
Very cool.
And it became a friendship, and he taught me all about this community while playing and singing and hanging out with me, helping me through it.
And so what you're saying is there are a lot of nice, friendly, loving strangers in this hate group.
Yeah, in Phantom Menace and Comicsgate, these horrible hate groups of bullies.
Oh, who would? They're tokens. They're just tokens, Rosetta. It's just to fool you into thinking that they're actual human beings. Don't fall for it for a minute.
And then it was I met Alaz on, I don't even remember whose stream now, right around the beginning of Christmas time, and I was co-hosting his shows on his channel by the beginning of January.
And somewhere along the way, they decided to, hey, art kind of sort of stuff, right? You want to color some comics for us?
He saw some of the drawings I was doing of some of the people in the community who'd been nice to me. The first one I did was of Mecca, and I actually sent it to her and have a copy of it still. And then I did one of Jesse Milestone as the second one. And he saw those, and he saw the one I was doing of Chris Nova, Darth Barbie. Right. And he gave me the chance off those. He saw Very something
cool.
in them.
So had you always been somebody who drew and did artwork, or you just sat down and wanted to do something?
I was a very three-dimensional artist. I mean, I did statues, woodwork, stuff like that. And I started studying two-dimensional art a little bit in 2017, kind of distanced from it while I was learning the photography over 18. And when things got rough in 2019 and life was getting hard on me, and I was medically laid up a lot, I started working more on learning colors and drawing, because I didn't have much else I could do. I was on bed rest for months.
Sure. It's either that or Sudoku. So
I'll do either.
So you've been able to get out now, though.
I get out a lot and do the photography, which takes a lot of time.
Now, the book is focused on eagles specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would ask, why it was, how you narrowed in on that one aspect of nature photography. But, eagles are just, you almost don't have to ask that, because eagles are historically inspiring. I mean, the entire Roman government eagles as symbols. The Bible talk, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as of eagles. So everybody recognizes this bird as something.
Yeah. Now, on my dad's cultural side, on the Sioux side, the bald eagle specifically is the symbol of the guardian angel, the connection
Now, I did not know
to
that.
humanity and the Great Spirit. So I was raised with a bit of reverence to them. And there's really specific things that every interaction an eagle has with you is supposed to mean culturally. And so me and my husband were driving through a park, and we come down this hill and come right around the corner, and right freaking next to the car is an eagle sitting in the grass looking at us. That was sitting on a fish it had just caught. And that was the first eagle I photographed. And that was the one that started it. And that was now over 2 years ago. That was July in 2008.
And they're so big. I mean, you squat down to take a picture of the eagle, you're looking him in the eye. They're just that big.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things when I think of eagle, and I think when most people think of eagle, they think of the bald eagle, but there are many different varieties of eagle.
I have others in the book.
That.
Okay, they're mostly bald because balds are the ones that are most common where I'm living, because of where I'm living in Iowa is between the Cedar River and Mississippi. And so it's about 1/3 of the world's bald eagle population winters along that part of Iowa between the rivers.
Sure. They nest in Alton, Illinois, up here, just a little north of me, which is also right along the Mississippi River. I'm right on the river.
So they're really common to go photograph there. And I find nests. I help the state actually keep track of how many are having which babies at which nests and stuff like that. And I photograph it while I do it.
Well, that's very cool, because they're still at risk, endangered. There's a level.
They're still technically at risk because their population naturally to this continent before people interfered was over 80,000.
Okay,
the population got down to a couple thousand total. They are now rebounded to the point where they're finding there's 20 to 30,000 and reporting over 10,000 a year in Iowa.
Now, how did people interfere with eagles? Because eagles don't actually have to have trees to nest in. They kind of nest on rocky crags on the sides of cliffs and everything. Were they eating them? Did they taste good? Are they like spotted owl or something? Not that I've eaten spotted owl.
It was actually more that they screwed with their environments. They changed the home conditions. They killed off a lot of their main prey. There was issues with them poisoning small animals that eagles would eat for a while historically. And this was all part of targeting natives during the removal and Trail of Tears era and stuff like that.
Okay, so to basically attack the other people, they were attacking their symbols and demoralizing them.
Demoralizing them and taking away the things that were their main resources. Eagles, of course, the feathers were military honor rewards, stuff like that. They went after eagles. They went after the bison population. That was how they attacked a lot of the tribes, because they went after their main food sources and their main religious symbols.
Okay, I can follow the logic of it.
It's sadistic, but there's a logic.
It definitely works. Okay, so the eagles had to pay the price for conquest, and
basically.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the book that you've got going on here. How the mailing list is up, by the way, for this book. It's an Indiegogo project. Everybody, check out the link in the description below. It's right down there. Click on that, get on that mailing list. I know you're used to getting on comic book mailing lists if you come to this channel. This is different. It's still a book. It's still got pictures in it, so it won't be that great of a departure for you.
And it will have really some comic style art. It will have some comic style art on the covers. You had a last man stop briefly and chat, even though he's at work. Hail boss man for that. But I'm doing 2 versions of the book with a similar slant but slightly different pictures, because there's just too many to fit in one book. And there's going to be 2 covers for them. One of the covers is being done black and white, drawn by Laz, colored by me. The other is being black and white, drawn by Anthony and colored by me.
Now it's interesting that you're going with a drawn cover for a photography book. A lot of photography books will lead off with, one of their best pictures will be laminated right there on the front. Why did you choose to go with a drawing on the front rather than using the drawing in sort of like the frontispiece of the book or the inside cover art?
Well, I think having my first eagle picture I took as the focal of the intro, to me, actually makes a little more sense to really pull you into what the book is. But it's also because I actually want a bit of my other art, a bit of my other personality to be reflected in this. And I want to show a little bit of the comic spirit that I also imbued here.
Okay. Can we see some of the book?
Yeah,
Share the screen?
I have to do this a little wonky because I cannot show us while I share the screen because I don't have my other monitor right now. So one sec here.
That's why I always use it like share a tab in.
So this is actually the program I'm using to design the book, and this is the intro page here.
I'm going to give you full screen on that one there just to get as much as possible on the screen.
And you can actually see here, that's the first one I took that was right next to us. And that was when I had a camera with much less zoom and much less function than the one I have now.
Now, this is the first one. Is this the one that was on the side of the road eating the fish and you pulled over?
Yeah, that was just around the corner inside the park right next to the little road, yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, you can actually, if you look over here, you can actually see the little barbecue pit at the park.
He was going to cook it. He couldn't figure out how to light the match.
So there is that, and it's absolutely an amazing focal to the main page because it shows how I got started. You go into the first page here, and I go into what led me to love this photography, what led me to really do it. A little bit of background on that photo, where I took it, when, July 11th, 2018, in Pinnakin Park in Central City, Iowa. And so it goes into that. Thank yous to the people who've helped me along the way, all that stuff. And yeah, and that's there. But I'm still working on the others, so the incomplete pages I'm showing you here. I'm designing the layout is the hardest part. Doing the background color blend, filling in the text and stuff is pretty simple.
Yeah, this is more than just a than a book, which is what I edit or publish. Where I'm editing stories. Even with pictures added to the books, because your is a different layout. I think you're going with more of a scrapbook / coffee table book. Landscape orientation is what I'm thinking.
These are juveniles of different ages. You can see this one is almost fully white-headed, but not quite. This one's partway changed.
Okay. So these are all bald eagles, but they're not.
They're different ages along the. This is about a 2-year juvie. This would be about a 1.5 years. These down here would be between year 3 and 4 when they go bald.
Now, do the females of the species go bald?
Yeah. Actually, the females are actually the larger ones and the ones that are primarily the hunters. Okay,
because I know in the bird kingdom, the thing is that the more brightly colored ones are always the males because we need help.
With most birds of prey, the male and female are very little difference. The main difference is usually size and shape of the head.
Okay.
These ones, if it'll load here, it's a little slow right now. We're actually taken on Valentine's Day this year. And you can actually see they're swooping and playing over the water in the river.
Probably swooping, looking for some fish swimming.
This, by the way, if you look at the size of it compared to the full grown, is not a juvenile. That is a golden eagle.
Is he raging?
It's just flying along. But yes. So there's having the bald and the golden flying together along the water surface like that, where you can see the snow and ice, you can see it's cold, to me was a really intense moment. And
yeah, I never think of them, the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. You never think of them, commingling like that.
Most eagle species don't seem to mind being around other eagle species. It's when you start getting around like ravens and stuff like that, they'll eat them rather than hang out with them usually.
Oh, yeah. I used to, when I worked in St. Louis, there was place I worked at had on the very top of the building a peregrine falcon eyrie for the falcons to nest there, and we'd watch them fly out over the river, over the Merrimack River. This one was, and the funny thing was, is there would always be like two sparrows, and they would just dart in and just attack his tail and then fly off, and I'm like, the falcon is running from these two tiny sparrows instead of just turning around and gobsmacking them upside their little birdie heads.
Now, one thing I've noticed, I got a special program for this. So the backgrounds are all based on colors that are pulled out of the pictures and then blended and artistically put together.
Oh,
that's why
nice.
every page has this background that looks like it just was made for it. It was. You can see as the pages, as I lay them out, I'm figuring out which goes better with which things. This is actually the mama on the nest. You can actually see the babies right here that are a few weeks old.
That's cool. I'm guessing the program will print to PDF for.
It has a system designed to print for that and all that. And here's a few of the ones I've taken. And we'll have some full-size cutout pages in it and stuff. Their info, of course, will be on the page right beside, pointing you over to where to look.
Right.
And yeah, you can just see that I'm designing this as I go. There's quite a bit to still do. I'm trying to make it many pages and really detailed. And so that's that part of it.
How many pages are you thinking of total when it's done?
I'm shooting for probably around 50.
Okay. Do you have anything special planned for the middle spread? Like when you hit the middle of the book and here's your double page?
I'm still deciding on that. I might actually put out a couple that are part of the same set that go side by side with each other. Now, I'm going to show a couple other things here. This is Otis, and this was actually this year too. This was actually just a couple months ago.
That's a nice one.
And that's one of my favorites there. And then there's also, here's that same one actually a year earlier. Same nest, same eagle.
Oh, so he's waving at you. He recognized you.
No, he was going to try to eat the dog that was with the person below us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, eagles are fun little critters. Now these two I'm going to show you goes to the one that you used for the image for the stream.
Right.
And there's actually a little detail behind the thumbnail because she isn't a wild eagle. She is actually in captivity. She was rescued as a baby and she's been taken care of, but it's too injured to live on her own. Her name is Spirit.
Okay.
She's one of the oldest eagles in the world. She was hatched in the beginning of 85.
That's old for an eagle, I imagine. 85.
Yeah.
That's 35 years old.
If not, going to 36 years soon. She's up there. I don't think she's going to hit that next marker because she's getting really aged. Then when I visited her recently, she's losing weight and turning gray.
Okay.
But she's my sweetheart. I visited her a lot, and this is one of the multiple shots I have of her. And I'm almost thinking of doing the middle spread of her and doing it of her in both books and just because I have so many close-up detailed shots of her in different angles and poses.
Yeah. Boy, look at the hook on that beak. I mean, that's just made for digging into something and ripping some meat apart.
Mm-hmm. And she's just absolutely amazing. Look at her when she looks you in the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, she ain't taking no guff.
So Spirit's my heart. Now, one of the other things is I do have multiple types of eagles in this book that are not American bald or golden. And I was going to showcase one of those types for you here.
Yes, please.
They're from zoo trips I've done. I've put a lot of money into this. So this is zoo trips I've done. This is called a Butler Eagle, and it's actually African. And
oh, that's cool.
It actually almost looks like you crossed an eagle with like a songbird, the markings almost.
Yeah.
And it's really, I love the bright colors, the red neck, all that, because there's something about it that doesn't look like any other bird I've ever found.
No, I mean, I'm seeing like bits of flamingo and bits of toucan and
this is one of the largest breeds of eagles, bald being, of course, the largest, but the closest underneath balds are fish eagles from Australia and bottlers from Africa. And there's also, if you want to see the face close up.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, now he looks badass.
And that is the same one because it's the same zoo that is actually Kansas City Zoo.
All right. So
And
you've invested quite a bit of time and money into getting to these eagles for the purpose of the book.
So some of the ones that I have that I didn't show you here that I'll have in others, I actually took at an eagle section they have in San Diego Zoo.
Now, I would expect they'd have San Diego's known for their zoo, so I would expect they'd have a good exhibit there.
That was part of a very big trip I made where I did a couple family things, and I spent several weeks going around the country in 21 total states, 12 of which I'd never been in before, and meeting different people from Fandom Menace.
That's a cool thing about traveling, especially when you've got so many people now that you're making friends with on the internet, as you can network it into a friend-making trip. Now, do you have to coordinate with the zoos to be able to get the photographs that you get?
Most zoos are really lighthearted about this. They want people to know about their zoo. They want people to know about their animals. You walk right in with the cameras around your neck. They tell you how to get the pictures and where to go.
Okay. But what about when it comes to publishing them?
It's your photography as long as you correctly label who it is and where it came from. Okay. You have to credit where you got the photo so that they get their attention from the public for it.
That makes sense. And I would always do that anyway, but sometimes it's like, well, you didn't get permission from us to use this photograph, and I didn't know how they might be with that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've looked it up on that. I've also talked to many of the zoos. The legal requirements is, because there's still a public place and you're paying for the entrance, as long as they allow cameras in there without regulation, you have a right to publish what you take.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
But I still will do everything I can to make sure every zoo is credited, every zoo gets attention and help for what they've done, all that.
Have you been to St. Louis?
I haven't been to the zoo down there yet. I should, because it's not exactly that far from where I live normally. I would,
if you don't go to the zoo, I would recommend you go to Grant's Farm, which is also in it's Ulysses S. Grant's property in South St. Louis, but it's a zoo. It's like the St. Louis Zoo, but it's more open air, and they have a bird show, and they have you can get real close to the bald eagles that they have there, who are also rescued injured birds. They can still fly short distances, and when they call the bald eagle in, and you're sitting in that amphitheater, and it swoops over your heads to come down to them, it's a moment of it'll catch your breath, because you're not expecting the eagle to show up at that point. You're expecting them to walk out with an eagle, not for it to come to them over your head. But they have some really nice eagles there. You might
one of the ones, if I could ever make the money and actually make the trip, I would love to do is actually go to the frickin' zoo that the Irwins work at in Australia.
Oh yeah.
Especially since they actually have like the fish eagle, and those actually train so that they'll actually let you hold them and stuff in the freaking resort.
I would not feel brave enough to.
I would, in a heartbeat, but
yeah,
I'm a mountain girl.
I'm sure. That's pretty much your spirit animal is the eagle. I can tell.
Eagles, swans, and bison are the ones I'm closest to.
Well, it's a lot easier to hold an eagle than a bison.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I'm still laughing at the idiot tourist who wanted to pet the bison baby and got stripped by the mama who threw her around like a rag doll.
Ooh, no, leave babies alone.
That was last Wednesday. That was not even a week ago yet.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how I've missed seeing that passed around on Twitter.
I will send you the links and also a lot of the memes after the stream. It is freaking hilarious.
But they were okay.
She's okay, but it's her own stupid fault, and she is, yes, become a very public spectacle being mocked.
And rightly so. Do not feed the animals. Do not pet the babies.
But because you were commented on, because the eagles are just where I'm starting. My books after that are going to be swans and bison as the next step.
All right.
So I'm going to let you see one of my bison shots here real quick.
Let's do that.
Favorite one. And then I'll go over and open up a couple of the swan ones, and I'll just let you see my photos book while I go through that. This is my favorite of my bison shots I've actually taken.
Oh, that's nice. You took the background out of it and everything, so it's just
No.
How is that a white background?
That was a very, very bright day, and there were bits of snow in very white grass.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do a thing to edit anything here. This is straight up.
Boy, that looks like it's a PNG file. I mean,
I actually had this printed and actually did a giant freaking diamond art of it.
Yeah. You talking about diamond art? You're talking about the laser etching into a...
No, diamond art is where they actually will print this massive glue canvas, and you actually sit there and do the entire thing like paint by number with freaking little gems.
Oh my God! I would go nuts.
And I actually had it printed as one and did it, and it's freaking gorgeous. I love it that way. But this is my favorite, and this has to be the focus when I do a bison book.
Yeah, that's gonna be your cover.
And if you actually come over here a sec with this, I'll let you guys actually get a glimpse at my insanity here with my work. My other favorite one that I have to do with the bison is where to go. Here.
Aww.
That is the newborn baby silhouetted by its mom behind it.
Go pet the baby, Rosetta.
No, I'm not an idiot. No, I did that safely from inside the car from a distance with a zoom. Thank you. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. They actually have bison, by the way, at Grant's Farm as well.
Yeah, see, I'm so used to bison at this point. And so then I have my Swan Interactions. And swans are my other thing I'm really close to. And for that, I have to back out here because I've already moved them because I'm already starting to go through them for the next section.
So so Swans is going to be book 2?
Well, book 3, but second Indiegogo because the second book's going to be part of the higher tier for this one. It's going to be a second of Eagles.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be Eagles and Swans and then Bisons.
Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorite Swan shots.
They've got a good catalog going here. Yeah, I love it when they're raising up and flapping.
And that's Mama. I'm actually very close to that family of swans. I go visit them all the time, and she comes over the fence and nuzzles me.
Oh, she got used to you. You feed them?
No, they just very used to me. And when the fence shattered and her babies got separated from her, I helped her get them back. She likes me.
I can imagine.
But where is it here?
You brought my babies back.
I've got yeah, I need the wild ones here. One of the rarest form of swan right now in the world is rebounding from being down to a population of double digit. And it's up to a few thousand now, but it's still very rare. It's called Trumpeter Swan. It migrates through Cedar Rapids into Amana.
Okay. I know the name. I wouldn't be able to tell what one looked like and say that's a trumpeter swan, but I've heard of them.
So they literally migrate right over where I live. And so these here, all these ones you see on the water here,
yeah,
those are wild trumpeters.
You got a good catalog to draw from for making a book.
And look at that one.
That's beautiful.
So this is the stuff I do. And as you can kind of tell from my tabs here, how much stuff I've got going, how many things I've got going here.
You're going to be busy.
There isn't a question. I have what I need. I just have to get through it. This here you see flapping around on the nest was actually 10 week at that point. I visited him here. Baby. And look how big it already is here.
You had to make it bigger than that. There we go.
Oh, look how big it already is at 10 weeks.
Yeah. Now you're talking about the ones that we can see full body, not the one sticking his head out of the nest.
Both of them that are there are the babies.
Wow. 10 weeks. That's a big bird already.
Uh-huh. I have ospreys, I have owls, but I love some of the stuff I've gotten. Look at this juvie.
Ooh, again, it's got that dangerous beak on him. Those predator birds have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in your swan pictures, I was going to ask you, have you ever been able to photograph a black swan, because that's such a rarity?
Not in the wild, but in zoos, yes. One sec, I'll go back to that again. The first visit wasn't as successful, so I didn't get ultra great, but that was my first attempt there, and I was trying to do it through glass. But I show that to show also the growth of the photography. And that was my first attempt at it. But the other hasn't been sorted yet because it's in this year's folders yet. So I have to go back and forth a lot because I'm still sorting all this out. It's a big discombobulated. This is this year's trumpeters and others. And then you come out here and you see these little tabs for zoos also in this. Where is Kansas City, or was it actually... Where is it? Yes, there's a lot of freaking ones here. It's Sioux Falls, San Diego.
You should approach these zoos that make it into your book and see if they'll carry your book in their gift shop.
I might consider that on some of this stuff. Where did I put that freaking tab? I'm sorry, I'm still in the middle of sorting all this, so it's kind of discombobulated.
That's cool.
But I have it. I just have to figure out where. So let's go back here.
My furnace has just come on, and now my great big mic is picking up the sound of it blowing.
I think I remember why I wasn't finding this where I was looking. All right, back up here a sec.
I'm horrible at sorting pictures, and I solved that problem by crashing my laptop last week. So it's a lot easier to sort none.
I've got this. I'm pretty sure I figured out where I put them.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
This one was funny because at the Des Moines Zoo, the Australian exhibit, actually most of the animals wander around loose with you. And this one waited for the mom to go into the little bird aviary with her baby and then started stealing all the teething biscuits from the stroller.
Not her first rodeo.
But yeah, taking the photos of the swans there. And I'll go through these and I'll pick out the best of each set. But yeah, that one was standing right next to me. That wasn't even a zoom.
It provides a nice contrasting backdrop.
So yeah, I mean, I have some really strange and rare stuff in these photos. I believe
Now, this can be a hardcover, I would assume.
Yeah, these are going to have to be hardcover.
Okay.
I don't even remember the name of this one. I have to look up the name yet. This is an African swan. Look at the nose.
It's a very blunted nose, isn't it?
And a very blunted red to black to white body and head.
Yeah. And it's very sharp contrast between the head and the body there.
But I had never seen or heard of this one before until being at the zoo. And look at that photo. That's just going to be a unique, special one. So yeah, this is the stuff. I love doing this stuff.
Well, and that's why you don't work. Because if you love what you're doing, it's not work.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to do this stuff because I love it. It's not cheap. The travel, the expense, the camera work, the prints, the food, the supplies, the everything is
But
not cheaper.
and even taking into account the fact that you can deduct all that from your taxes once you publish the book, and it's, look, this work was for this product, therefore these are now tax write-offs. It's still, it's still a loss to your finances to make it happen. Speaking of making it happen, the Indiegogo itself, once it kicks off, when it kicks off, have you given thought to, how much you're going to be asking to make this book happen? What kind of tiers you're going to be throwing onto it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. As far as I can figure out, the minimum cost to print, because of how many I'm going to have to print and how I'm going to have to do this and stuff with the company, minimum printing cost for that many hardbound is going to be $3,000 at least.
Okay.
So that's just a print. So work in extra copies for what ifs, other stuff like that, shipping, handling, other stuff. It's going to be minimum is going to be $5,000 to $6,000 just to break even.
And it's going to be, they're going to print what you order and that's it, or is it going to be left there as a sort of a print on demand?
There will be extras printed. I will do an extra order if I get enough people wanting more of them, but it's going to be basically print the amount I need plus extra overflow, and then a separate printing that's not going to be deducted from that cost at all will be extras for my family because they've been begging me for Eagle Book for years.
Of course, you've got to take care of the family with your
books. But that extras for the family. I'm not talking about a few people. I'm talking about I have two sides of my family, freaking Native Catholic and Irish Catholic, and they all want copies of it.
What you do is you send them a link to the Indiegogo and say, give them a secret tier. It's like you go to this tier here and you get the family discount. But I can see some of those photos, especially photos where it's easy to remove the background, like that bison photo you had. Not that it's going to play into this tier, but you could do things like die cut stickers with them, like these stickers that we get here from Sticker Mule that we send out to people at Critical Blast. And by the way, shill time.
Shameless self-shilling while he's at it.
Yes,
right?
If you want one of these stickers, they are absolutely 100% free, except for the fact that you have to send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Critical Blast at 1097 Prestwick Drive, Belleville, Illinois 62221, and we'll be happy to throw 2 of these into an envelope for you so that you can give one to your friend, and both of you can advertise for us for free. So
that's the reason to do it.
That's the reason to do it. Yes, we have ulterior motives behind everything.
Capitalism, baby.
That's the name of the game. Wait a second, I'm not making any money off of this.
Yeah, but you gain promotion to make money later.
I gain promotion. Plus, if they go to the website, we do have ads. They don't pop up all over the place and get in your face and stop you from reading the article and tell you that you got to go to the next page after a picture. We put all our articles at criticalblast.com in one chunk, and the ads run to the side. So they stay out of the way.
What a bizarre notion.
I know. And some of the ads are actually for our own things.
No, this is the thing. When I talk about, I'm trying to bring my culture into this community. I'm trying to bring my tribal side, my heritage, my photography into this comic nerd community. I'm making a project for my boss.
Oh, let us. I'm going to give you full screen.
I'm going to hide the image part and just tell you what it's going to be, but I'm going to show you this part. This is actually the shoulder blade of a bull bison.
Okay, is that the real shoulder blade or a casting?
Real.
I was going to say that looks like it came right off of Fred Flintstone's plate after dinner.
This is going to have the bone edges here and stuff sanded down. And it's going to have an image epoxied into it from Drake and be hand painted for him.
Very cool. Very, very cool. That's I almost said it's like Scrimshaw, but that's carving.
Yeah, and we all know that I do the hand painted merchandise stuff. This is just a little tiny card, but even though it's painted and it's a card, look at the detail and shading on it.
Yes. Now that's what kind of card is that? Is that
This is a canvas hardback that's 5x7. And this is the larger size of the cards I'm making. Actually, most of them are 4x6.
You know what? Now that you've got experience working with those, figure out how to laminate or emboss your eagle photos at a 5x7 size, and make those a tier on your book deal.
That might not be a bad idea, actually, especially since all I would have to do is do a little bit of paint around the edge of the picture and stuff to make it really detailed and clean.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But I'm real good at coming up with big ideas for things that would be cool to me that I have absolutely no way of making happen.
Well, you say 3x5, but 4x6 is a standard print picture photo. You can print those really cheap and stuff. And the 4x6 of those canvas cards, they carry in bulk discounts out everywhere.
Well, there you go. Then you got, as long as the size matches the card is what I was kind of getting to.
Yeah.
Plus you want to probably have the picture a little smaller than the card so that you've got emboss area to get it to stick on.
So yeah, I've been doing that. I have a little one here of the bones. This is actually off of a doe.
Oh,
and you can actually see I have the little chick fight image that I'm going to be painting and detailing. This from Drake.
Okay, so this is in progress then.
Mm-hmm.
And so the picture is kind of like, what is that? Like pasted on there, and then you're going to be working over that, and then you peel it off?
Kind of. It's actually done with mass amounts of Mod Podge, and then after you do a resin coating to help hold it in.
Okay. Wow.
So there's a lot
cool.
of coding and detailing and work to epoxy the images onto this for me to paint them like I would do the colorist work.
Well, that's exactly what you should do with one of those bison shoulders. Just take that bison picture and
emboss it on it.
Emboss it onto it. Of course, I don't know. Is that cruel? Say, hi, you're looking at my arm.
Here's the standard size for the regular female bison.
Oh, okay. Standard size. You've got bones laying all over the place here, Rosetta. And the question is going to arise. Exactly how many bisons are us or around you that you can go out and collect bones? I mean, supposedly we're not shooting these things anymore.
I live in Iowa. I'm right now at my parents' place. I am in the Black Hills.
Okay.
A lot of the ranchers and a lot of the people that work in the Forest Service, when the animals pass or when they have to be put down or something for issues, will sell the bones to the bone and hide shops locally so they can sell them off too, to help raise funds to keep breeding them and helping them reproduce and repopulate.
Well, that's nice.
So it's actually buying these bones actually helps them take care of the animals to help them actually get a larger population.
That is recycling. So I thought, be like cows, they ground everything down into the Alpo cans, including the bones. Ooh, that's a
jawbones.
Okay, so now we are getting into Scrimshaw territory here. Have you ever, clicking the wrong button here, have you ever done anything like Scrimshaw where you're actually etching it into it rather than Mod Podging it onto it?
I have done some burned and sawed stuff in long ago. Usually I just paint on top and maybe drill in and add bead chains and stuff like that hanging. But yeah,
that's very cool.
This is the stuff I did before I started doing photography and everything else. Like I said, I'm a very 3D artist.
Well, you got to include an appendix in your bison book now on the bone, the industry that has come up around the hides and bones, and how that's impacting the population, how it's being used to increase it.
And there was an article a while back where these vegan activists were having a complete and utter tantrum because Yellowstone and Custer State Park were selling bison to ranchers for meat. And I'm sitting there going, you do realize if they don't sell so many a year, the park gets overpopulated and they start all dying.
Yeah, they starve to death because they overpopulate their food resource.
I thought they starve to death. When you get too many of them in one place, they start killing each other.
Yeah, and you have cannibal bison. Bison.
Just goring the crap out of each other because they're very territorial at that point. And you don't need that. And you don't need them to start getting so crowded they get more violent to the tourists either.
Plus, they're tasty.
Oh, they're delicious. And they are One of the highest amounts of vitamins and minerals in any red meat.
And not very much fat in them either.
Mhm.
I went. There's an Irish restaurant of all kinds of places in St. Louis that has bison burgers, and I took my wife there, and I said, "Oh, you gotta have a bison burger." She's like, "This is very dry." Well, yeah, because there's no fat in it. It's supposed to be good for you. She's like, "I need a little bit more." But
Yeah, if you cook with it, you cook with venison and those stuff. Usually, you blend it with like a pork or something, so that you
I did
still
not know
get the overall taste. But you can do like meatballs and soft cooks and stuff like that.
Yeah, now we have done that with beef, just regular ground beef, and
Mhm.
mixed it with Italian seasoning, Italian sausage, and made meatballs out of the mixture that way. It's an interesting blend.
There are some companies now that, because we've had the issues now where states are being endangered because people brought in wild boars from other countries and they got loose.
Oh yeah,
And so there's these companies now that are working on, they actually hire hunters to go out and help cull that population, bring it back, deal with the conservation and trying to get them out of this country. And they actually sell the meat after.
isn't that funny how delicate the North American ecosystem is?
Actually, they
If you
all
bring
are.
anything out, if you bring anything out of another country into North America, it's always more powerful and takes over.
It's not so much. It's that way almost everywhere. They had an issue where American frogs caused an issue in part of Australian ones. They have an issue now where tiny little freaking American crayfish were planted in a pond in England because people were trying to use them to sell for meat. And they ended up getting embedded in the river system and they're destroying it because they're breeding so fast they're killing every other fish.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then of course there's the snakehead fish here in North America that you were hearing about so much for so
Mhm.
long. It's just leave everything where it is. It grew up that way for a reason. We have
Yeah.
no business trying to create new ecosystems. Well, how long do you think we're going to have to wait before we can actually start signing, committing to funding this book? You got a date in mind?
Okay. So a little tentative because it's a lot of work, and right now I'm uprooted because basically the city I've been living in is almost completely destroyed.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm here, is because my husband's dealing with cleanup, repairs, helping with emergency work in the city and stuff like that. And they're under lockdown at night because of how bad the city is. So it's a mess. And my husband left me here for my health, but
your house is standing.
My house is standing. Not much of anything around it on my property is, and there is some damage, but
Time to buy it up on the cheap.
yeah, and that's the other thing, is even after insurance, even after other stuff, it's still going to be easily a couple of grand minimum we have to pay to deal with all this.
Yeah.
Not counting having to relocate me and all this other stuff. So it's a bit of a mess, but I have my computer here. I am working on the pages here. I have to touch base with Laz and Anthony again, get the exact details of when the pages will be done for the covers, and I have to colorize those. But I'm hoping to try to get it out this year and start working on the Swan one soon. So as long as I can keep working the next few weeks, I should be able to get the actual campaign up in the next month or two.
Okay.
That's, of course, a little tentative based on just the amount of disaster crap I'm dealing with.
Now, is there a bonus reason to sign up for the mailing list before the book?
I actually have set this up. Everyone who does the mailing list is going to get full page size prints in high def of Spirit signed.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'll hit the link in the description, folks. Sign up for the mailing list. This is one of the things you're going to want.
So yeah, that beautiful picture you put on the intro.
Yeah. And that's true by stretching the last inch.
When I do the mailing list, I'm going to send everybody a set of about 4 of them from the book, and they can pick out which one they want out of the prints to throw in with it.
Very nice. That's how big of a print are you talking about here?
I'm doing a full page print here signed. So you can actually hang this as a wall art.
Yeah, because you're going to want to frame this one, people. This is going to be very, very. This is going to look cool. It's gonna look cool up there next to your
Oh,
Cyber Frog posters and your.
I think here, because I've done them before. I use the prints for different things. I think this is the right box here. I have some of my large photography prints still that I use, and I sell these off to fund inner city work and work with kids in need all the time. So I have this box here that has some of my photography in the full pages. So you can actually see all the details.
Oh, you didn't tell me you did monkeys.
Uh-huh. I'll have a lot of stuff down the road here as I go through this because I have all kinds of stuff. Red panda.
Yeah. Mallard.
So this is the way I get them printed. Uh-huh. And all of them are signed with high def gold embossing pen.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And yeah, here's my dad's spirit animal right there.
Is that a lemur?
No, that's the red panda. I'm talking about how it's laying.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
I have a thing for red pandas and monkeys and stuff like that.
It's a mandrill.
This is in the wild. You can actually see the owl just on the post.
Yeah.
That's in the wild. Actually, that was about 6 miles from my house, actually. And that's that same swan that I showed you earlier with the wings spread.
That's a huge span.
Yeah. So, and there's eagles and stuff. I'm seeing if I have any of the ones left of spirit, but they kind of disappear quick when I have it. And you can actually see what that swan I showed you looks like printed.
Nice. Very, very nice.
Where is that picture? I had spirit. Do I have any left of her? Every time I print spirit, she disappears quick from the stack.
Oh, I can imagine. But don't worry, folks.
There's a hippo.
That's a water horse.
Uh-huh. That one was actually, I went to the zoo specifically for that picture because my mom's favorite song growing up was Hippopotamus for Christmas. So I went to the zoo, I took a bunch of different pictures, and I made her the specialized wall art of several hippopotamuses and named it and signed it as For Christmas. And gave it to her on Christmas.
A hippopotamus for Christmas.
Okay, one sec. Like I said, there's a lot of these here to go through. This here is all different eagles. So you've got eagles after eagles, and then there's some behind it that isn't eagles, but I've got.
Oh, that's a nice one. Sometimes the background is really important.
That is a golden eagle. That's not a juvie.
Cool. RGE should buy one of these.
And there's a couple together. And that's in flight. I'm trying to find this. Eesh. I was not prepared for this part. There's
That's
juvie.
okay. Flying by the seat of the pants is what we do best here.
This one was actually this year, too.
Now, okay, his expression reminds me of Sam. The you know who I'm talking
Sam
about.
Sam Muppets.
Yeah, he had the eyebrows kind of down, going.
And by the way, this picture I had to dangle myself on a freaking cliff on rocks to get.
Holy shit! No kidding. You were eagle bait.
Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorites because I love that what the crap face. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
You know, if you put some of these up online, they're going to get memed.
Mm-hmm. This, though, is proof that any animal can be beautiful if you get the right image and the right lighting.
Oh, my God. That the reflection, the way the wings are spread out, that's gorgeous.
That's one of my favorites, and that's just a freaking Canadian. No, I can't.
I have those in my very backyard.
Spirit is gone, but you get the picture from the photo sizes and how they're printed.
The only thing I hate about Canadian geese is they think they own the place.
Well, nobody's been
allowed
to hunt them for a long time, so they can do anything they want.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have a little pond in our backyard, neighborhood pond, not our pond. God forbid we go out and throw bread in it for the fish. We'll get yelled at by the lady who thinks she's still in the neighborhood society. But yeah, they'll come out of the pond and chase us out of our backyard, and then they'll crap all over our patio and expect us to clean it up. So that's looking
So
cool.
yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So everybody sign up for the mailing list so that in 2 months from now, which should be putting us in October, you'll be ready to get in there and commit to a level for this publication. We at Critical Blast love books, so I'm going to be checking it out. We love books so much that we make our own books at times, such as The Devil You Know, which is our latest anthology, 370 pages of stories about the devil, and people's encounters with him. So if you would like to maybe check that out, that is also way down in the description because we want you to see Rosetta's link first. That's why we put hers on top. But, if you happen to read past, you'll see some other links. And, if you want to click on those too, that's great to do. Rosetta, is there anything that you want to tell us about the book that the foresight to ask? Because, again, my preparation for this was create a link and put on my Tom King shirt. Bat, cat, bat, cat, cat, bat. It's Tom King dialogue in one image. So you're frozen. Oh no, Rosetta's frozen, and I'm being all cute and comical, and she's frozen, and she's gone. She's gone. Okay, well, I'm sorry, folks, but again, she was not operating under the best of internet circumstances. So thoughts and prayers with her and her family as they recover from these storms that decimated their hometown. We're grateful that her house is okay, but there's definitely going to be some structural damage that they've got to take care of. Everybody do hit the link in the description below and be sure to sign up for that photograph book. I know that this is different from comics, and we need to cover more of this kind of stuff as well, because we do cover movies, music, novels, as well as comic books. It's just that, there's a lot of comic books out there, and a lot of people are eager to push their stuff. So that's kind of what we do the most of, but we are open to everything. If you have any kind of a project that you want to push, we would be happy to have you on. And Rosetta's back.
I'm at the mountains. The internet just went out. What do you want? I'm on my phone.
I was sitting here, we're just being my charming self here, and all of a sudden, I thought you were like staring at me like I'd gone stupid, and I'm like, oh wait, she's actually frozen.
No, it could have been a little of column A and B.
Yeah, I was sitting here showing off my Tom King shirt, because I said, look, it's bat, cat, bat, and it's all his dialogue, half of his books, all in one image. That's how you condense a story, Tom. You take advantage of the image. You don't have to write all the words. But we expressed gratitude that your family is safe and that your house is okay, other than the stuff you've got to pay for to fix. But it's standing.
It's standing. It's fine, and it's just things are going fine right now.
And we encourage everyone to hit the link. This is and if you have we told people if you've got something other than a comic book you want to push, we do everything entertainment. We were supposed to have an actress on tonight, and she had a personal family emergency she had to take care of and reschedule for next Tuesday. So if you were here looking for Crystal Hunt for the Pure Flix series Mood Swings, she was also Lizzie Spalding on Guiding Light. She will be here next Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Very nice.
We'll be talking with her, and we hope you'll all show up. And if that's all we got, then Rosetta, I'm going to let you go.
It was very nice.
Your hair color, your hair color changed color between cameras. Did you know that?
Yes, because I can't get this camera to pick up the lighting well because of where the light is in the room and where I have to have the table because there's very little space.
I was gonna say it was darker in the first camera, and it's picked up a sort of a Julia Roberts Auburn color now.
The red is actually legit, and as you can tell, it's actually the roots are actually just slightly darker, but they're still red.
I ain't getting that kind of a detail. All right. Well, Rosetta, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you being here. And once you do kick it off with a full-fledged pledge drive, we'll be happy to have you back on and see if we can't get you some signups that night.
Blessed to you. Thank you.
Good night. We're glad to have you here. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Hi. Thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place, and we know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video. We hope you had a blast.
And the internet just came back up on the computer.